delicious beverage?
Duh.
Preparing students to demonstrate mastery of math state standards can feel like a dull, unending cycle of equations and practice problems. Unengaged, frustrated students can weigh on teacher confidence and lead to uncertainty about overall achievement. Two Ivy League-trained engineers observed this struggle and created a way to transform how students learn the fundamentals of math. Through the innovative Accoletics math program, EDA has helped more than 400,000 students achieve success on state-administered math tests and transformed the academic strategies and performance of schools nationwide. Accoletics' uniquely designed supplemental materials and tools are well aligned to your state standards and provide a clear path to exceed state proficiency standards. Through ongoing professional development, you will uncover common challenges and activate solutions that promise to improve student achievement in your school. By partnering with EDA and choosing Accoletics, you can start to see an unprecedented return on your investment in as little as one school year. Don't procrastinate on giving your teachers the tools to help students achieve their highest math potential. To learn how you can dramatically improve classroom instruction and learning, test scores, and student confidence, call, email, or visit Accoletics online today.
When daily tasks become too painful, it's time for change. Let our pain management and wellness practice, Valentine Integrative Health, elevate your quality of life and ease your discomfort. Visit us at valentineintegrativehealth.com and start your journey to a fuller life.
All right, family, without any further ado, welcome to the Allison and Marc podcast. Allison's heading down as we speak. Welcome to the show. We're excited. We got Carl with a K. I see our regulars have hopped on. Everybody, what's going on? It's been a busy day today, but we've got about 16 people in already. Carl with a K is on stage, ready to go. Carl, where are you tonight? Are you home? Where are you tonight?
Right now I'm home, but I'm looking at this weather, not anticipating driving out to Arundel Mills right now because it's coming down outside really, really hard.
Bro, what's your next Thursday look like?
Next Thursday?
Uh-huh.
I'm at the usually around 7:30. I'm at TGI Fridays in Owings Mills.
Oh, on Thursdays. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was checking. I'm trying to get a date, but I know you're busy.
Okay.
And so yeah, my birthday is Saturday. And everything snuck up on me. I was going to do an event, was going to do this, going to do that. But of course, it caught up to me. So now I'm like I'm backsliding, back hustling.
I understand.
So, I'm trying to work you in some venue. And there was a place on Thursday, but I won't get the great Carl with a K.
Not a problem. Well, just let me know time. I might be able to squeeze it in if it's something that's going earlier or later and it's nearby.
He's spread thin, ladies and gentlemen. You got to get him when you can. Now, Carl's available for parties, bar mitzvahs, divorce parties, weddings, and let's not forget cookouts.
Black History. Yeah, cookouts, definitely.
Cookouts,
and you do know I DJ too, so sometimes people try to
wait a minute.
Too.
Carl, you hitting them with the old school.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. I had to turn down a party when they asked me to do a prom after party. I was like, let me give you the number to somebody else.
Well, so Allison's on the way down. So Carl, you can warm it up. What you got to start things off with?
Well, just a couple of things. We had talked a little bit about how the Negro Leagues records are going to be included. Oh, let me turn my light. That's what I don't have on my lights. I don't know if you can see me that well. Oh, that's better. Okay.
All right.
And so I got one of my questions. You want to wait for Allison? Or you want me to just go ahead and start?
We can start, and then Allison, she's coming down.
Okay, not a problem. So like I said, we had talked about how the Negro League records are going to start being included in the MLB.
Yeah.
So my first question is going to be kind of Negro League-ish type of thing.
Oh, Negro League-ish, all right.
Yes. What artist, not recording artists, we're talking artists, painters, played in the Negro Leagues and was recruited by a major league team? And this occurred before Jackie Robinson.
Wow. Okay, that was a good one, man. What artist? Let me see.
Yeah, your choices are Romare Bearden, Jacob Lawrence, or Charles White.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go with one of our favorites. In our household, I think we have a predominance of his paintings in our house. I don't know if that word is a predominance. Is that a word? I don't know. If
that's
Jacob Lawrence.
Jacob Lawrence. That's who you're going to go with.
Even though age-wise, Bearden probably is the answer, because Jacob Lawrence, I think actually, did I meet Jacob Lawrence? I'm going to say Jacob Lawrence.
Okay. Well, you're more correct on that second choice. It was Bearden.
Okay. Wow.
Romare Bearden. 15 years before Jackie Robinson, Bearden was playing in the Negro Leagues, and the owner of the Philadelphia Athletics approached him to play for them, but he had to pass, and he declined it.
I'm busy painting. I don't have time to travel around with y'all.
Well, he didn't want to pass as being white because he was so light-skinned. They wanted him to pass as being white.
Oh, they wanted him to pass. Wow.
Well, right. They wanted him to pass, and he declined.
Isn't it, man? I tell you what, Carl, you see all these history moments and all these stories. It's amazing how far we've come. But at the same time, I think the trick that America, the thing they got right was they miseducated all of us. So most people don't understand, most Black people don't understand their power. And by not teaching, the information, everybody is jacked up because of it,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, you know how it is. So if you don't know your power, you don't know your history, you don't know the truth, then you really are just floundering. And so that's the part that's interesting about the racial conversation that people never talk about is white people also are pained or put in a terrible position as a human when you don't know the truth and you've been taught lies your whole life. The moment of finding things out is they must be pretty crazy, just like how horrific it is when we find out, like things
exactly
that were blocked from us and decisions people had to make, and just think to have to deny yourself to strive in a society must be crazy. But
exactly, or be told to do something just so you could be accepted that really is against your whole moral will.
I had an epiphany as I was mopping the kitchen. We live in Bethesda, and so we still, when you look out the window, you still see people of color, of all colors, as nannies or as housekeepers or as people who maintain. And you get it. Like I was mopping the kitchen and I was looking around, and what hit me, Carl, though, was like those of us who've been raised a certain way, for Big Mama, who most of us were raised with what Saturday or Sunday mornings was made for cleaning the house.
Yep.
And all those things that come with it. We had those uncles who worked on cars and fixed cars. And what I thought about, Carl, was a lot of that sadly was an extension of the lives that former enslaved had to live. And so a lot of it, to have somebody stand over you and watch you clean that kitchen, and that our parents ended up doing, it was interesting because that's direct, and that's why when you talk about, classism, in the Bethesdas of the world, the white folks who did not live in the upscale communities, who were poor, they weren't inside the house necessarily, but a lot of Black folks were. So they brought home with them all those things that are in expensive homes and all those ideas that people who have wealth have.
Right.
And so I saw this take on the Joe Budden podcast, and it kind of pissed me off because they were teasing the female host because she's biracial. And they were trying to prove that she wasn't Black. And they said, "Oh, so where do you keep your forks?" And coming up, where'd you keep your forks? She said, "Oh, you mean the cutlery?" And they were like, you white, see, you say cutlery. And I thought about my grandmother. I thought about my people, Carl. I was like, we said cutlery. No,
Right.
because most of the black folks worked in the households that had cutlery or had utility closets or utility with cabinets or, you know what I mean? Just like crystal, like every black home back with a certain group of black folks, everybody had crystal. Everybody had, the silver. That was a big part of it. Grandma had silver that she got from Miss So-and-so. And so it was just interesting. All of this,
Yeah, and that's where, I mean, if you think about it, one of my favorite movies, Cooley High. I don't know if you remember the house party when they broke the break front.
Broke the break front now. What you doing now?
And now a lot of these younger people wouldn't even know what a break front is. If I said break front, they be calling me bougie. And that was in the middle of Chicago.
Exactly. Everybody had that. And then even like you think about black people in Cadillacs. Well, most of the time, imagine, you spent your whole life driving a Cadillac for your boss.
Right.
So now when you retire, I'm going to give me a Cadillac that I own.
Exactly.
That's mine.
There is a marketing video, I want to say from the 60s, that talks about just about targeting the African-American customer. Wow. And they were talking about, do not show them cheap stuff because they want quality. They're willing to pay for the quality. They like brand names, Cadillac. It's like, it was like but it's basically what you just said. My grandmother was a domestic person. But, when you went to their house, she said cutlery, or she said the glassware, or she said this, and it was special. And, and they picked it up and brought it back home.
Yeah.
So, but when you're raised in just a whole little circle, even this little grouping, and you never leave Northeast DC, you don't see that as much.
Right. And so the queen has arrived. So
I got the whole screen. All right. You're going to give me back, Mark? I took over your whole screen, so I don't want to take over your show. Where'd you go? Okay. So I'm Carl with a K, the Black Trivia Guy. This is the Allison and Marc Clarke podcast, Married in Media. They will be back. They are back.
Carl, don't be nervous. Carl reminds me like when they gave you the microphone in the radio and they'd be like, here you go. You're like, oh, okay.
Hey, but hey, everybody. I have been so tired. I had to get 10 minutes of a nap.
Oh, good. So, I thought you were going to say tired of Marc Clarke.
No, Carl with a K. It's so funny that I would come in though when you were talking about, I think you said something about Cadillacs and black folks. So I'm reading this book.
That's a good name for a book.
Calamity of Souls. I think that's the name of it. And it's by the author David Baldacci. I believe is his name. He writes
a lot of murder mysteries. I would like his book.
Okay, so I'm actually on a panel doing a Q&A with him.
Oh, yes, Allison.
Book tomorrow at the Alexandria Public Library.
Love it.
Because, the Alexandria Public Library was the scene of a really famous around these parts sit-in. And this is basically in celebration of that whole period of time. And his book is about, it's about a young lawyer who's defending basically a black couple who worked for an elderly white couple, and they're accused of killing the elderly white couple, right? Wow. First of all, it's very hard to listen to this book, but I'm coming in on Cadillacs because the young lawyer who's with the Legal Defense Fund, who comes in to help the young white lawyer in that part of Virginia, she's explaining, and you can fact check this with me, that black folks bought big, fast cars back then because often you would have to drive those 20 hours straight.
Wow.
So you wouldn't get caught in sundown towns.
Wow.
And sometimes if you had to sleep in your car, and sometimes if you had to outrun some angry folks who didn't want you in a town after a certain time, right? And that's including the police. So you get that whole Cadillac thing that we sort of get that stereotype, black folks and the Cadillacs and that whole thing. He broke it down. David Baldacci, who is, and this is loosely based, I think, on his experience as a young man. It takes place in 1968, somewhere in Virginia. And I thought it was just so fascinating because I never knew, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to be, and again, fact check me, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be factual because they talk a lot about, he has interwoven a lot of historical facts, what was going on in the country. And in this part of the country, in Virginia, and I'm not exactly what part, I forget what county, it was like it was in 1968. So that would have been 11 years after Brown v. Board, right? And they still had the segregated schools. So like the NAACP and other whatever, they were going in and making sure that these schools were integrated because people were like, the federal government can say what they want. Around here, we're doing it the same way. So
states' rights.
Literally, they're still pulling down colored, colored entrance, white only, and it's about this this legal thriller. But when I heard you say something about Cadillacs, I never put together the history that if you had two kids and you had to go from New York down to see your people in Louisiana, you had to keep driving sometimes. And so it talked about a lot of people dying on the roads because of fatigue or what have you. And I just thought that was so interesting.
I remember my father used to drive from Jersey to South Carolina. And it was the Sheraton Hotel in Fredericksburg would at that time start taking Black people. And it took me years not to drive past that Fredericksburg, Sheraton, because I was like, no, I got to stop here to eat because that's what,
that's real. And it's interesting, speaking of cars, something that always fascinated me was musically was Chuck Berry. And one of my favorite songs, so basically, how we always kind of, and what's up, Brandy? Brandy's in the building. Brandy, I love it. Brandy, we do our Black conversations. I love Brandy's like, I'm here. I love but we talk about, I think, stereotypes a lot, and we talk about, how the Beach Boys. They always talk about how the Beach Boys did all these car songs, right? And I think even Black folks sometimes be like, well, white guys are into cars, Black guys aren't. But Chuck Berry was all up into cars, and his a string of his like first records were about cars. And the funny part about it is, in one of the songs, he talks about what he wants in his car. And of course, it's Cadillac. He wants a phone. He wants a television. Wants a bed. You know what I mean?
He wants
this is 1950, like 1952.
Right.
Like so like futuristic. He wanted a satellite in his car for his television. And you're just like, yo, all this stuff came true. And he was that guy. And so then here come the Beach Boys, and they have all these string of car songs. And people talk about, cars, fast food, and all this kind of stuff, because that's when people started to travel. And so fast food restaurants and the cars and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, back to Carl with the K.
Sorry,
well, just 2 points on what you're talking about. Just two quick things on the Chuck Berry thing. That he sued and won against the Beach Boys they stole one of his songs. I want to say Sweet 16 for one of their songs. He won that lawsuit. Also with Chuck Berry and his thing with his cars, he didn't stay in the hotels. He wanted to keep all his money.
Oh, that's right.
So he would stay in it. That's probably why he wanted all that stuff in his cars, because he was staying in his car.
There on the road.
And he also he collected Cadillacs. He had Allison and I met in St. Louis, but he lived in St. Louis, and he had like a whole garage full of Cadillacs, like from all those years. So crazy.
Got you. All right. So number 2, we all know Thurgood Marshall, and he attended Howard University Law School after being denied entrance into what law school? Was it Georgetown, University of Maryland, or University of Virginia?
Well, I don't know this answer, but I know that he is from Baltimore, so I'm going to say University of Maryland.
Okay.
And I'm going to say University of Virginia.
I would say go with your wife, University of Maryland. And the ironic thing is, in 1935, he and the NAACP won a lawsuit against the University of Maryland on racial discrimination in their law school.
He's like, I'll be back, and I'm going to testify. I'm a witness.
He is so, speaking of the Legal Defense Fund and all of that, he's
terrific.
I think that he should be required reading.
Yep.
As far as going before the Supreme Court and how he helped to spearhead so many important changes in America.
I mean, everybody knows the Brown versus Education, but there were so many other cases.
Oh yeah, they were just rocking through America, just winning cases.
Yeah,
and I think, Carl, you probably know the fact, but he was been credited with saying this. I think he may not have said it, but if he didn't say it, we still stand on it. About Clarence Thomas, a black snake is still a snake.
Oh. I don't know if you said it about him, but it would be apropos. Would be apropos. And I mean, even I think they're like justices just turning over in their graves, just seeing what the Supreme Court is like now. I mean,
it's a joke. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a time there was a standard. Last but not least, in what year did apartheid end in South Africa?
Babe's got the T-shirt. Been there, done there, saw that, got the T-shirt. That was Babe was in college. Remember, Babe?
So were you, honey?
Babe, you're older than me.
Okay. Go ahead. What are our answers?
So it's 1990, 1994, or 1996?
That's so crazy. I thought it was earlier, actually.
You would think that, but that's when a lot of the protests were going on.
We were protesting in the 80s.
We're heavy in the 80s.
Heavy in the 80s. That's right.
Have you been to South Africa? I have not.
I have been to South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And Allison, they said I would be. We did a Big Fat Morning Show broadcast from South Africa, so we were all sitting around, talking politics and talking different stuff, and so we started going around the table, and he said, "Where would you be? Where would we be from?" So sadly, they go, Troy. He said he would be a South African colored, right?
Mm-hmm.
He pointed to Marv. He's like, "You would be from here. You would be from here." He said, "You would be you Ivory Coast." He said, "I'd be from the Ivory Coast."
You'd be from, okay.
Well, now that the stalling is over, what year was apartheid?
And what are the choices again, sir?
1990, 1994, or 1996?
I'll go with 94.
That sounds about right, because we went in like 2000. So
that is correct. It was 1994, 30 years ago. April 27th was the first Democratic election which formally ended the apartheid system.
Brandon's right. Send her $100, Carl. Oh.
So, Carl, before we let you go with that,
Dr. Larry White.
It's been 30 years, right? So let me think. From 1965 to that. So, how do you see if America is any sort of yardstick? How do you see equality playing out in South Africa? Because I always say that for us in the 80s and the 90s too, but especially like that 80s, that sweet spot after like 20 years after the civil rights legislation, I honestly, growing up, I think I had I'll say better time or a less racial or racist encounter time when I was a teenager versus my daughters now when they were teenagers. So I always say that was the sweet spot, like 20 years later or so. How would you see that playing out as a student of history, and how would you see that playing out? Do you think they're still on that path? Because in the same book they talked about Reconstruction and how it was quickly torn down, and what a greater, because I love my country, so a greater country this could have been had we stayed on the path of Reconstruction had the government not caved to the Southern politicians,
the Dixiecrats.
I think that we would have been rolling, but somebody else had a plan to keep us divided. But how do you think it's going to play out in South Africa? Because it seems like they're doing well so far.
I think they're probably in that sweet spot right now, but I've been hearing rumblings and things, because what ends up happening is what's happening here. We have about, I don't know, forget, it was maybe about 20 years ago, I got into a discussion with somebody and I said, I have not experienced the racism that my father had growing up.
But you have now.
But today, 2024, I can now say I have experienced the racism my father had. Now, I don't know if I still have that fear of, will I come home alive?
Yeah.
that they did, but I'm starting to see things that people are saying and things like that. And I think because we've had that generation that never had any experience, like I said,
Yeah.
20 years ago, I was saying, it's not that racist. It's racist still, but it's not as bad as my father.
Yes, it was us.
But the children at that time, when I was making that comment, are now the adults and sort of white kids, and they are now starting to act like their grandparents.
And so South Africa was interesting. We did the show. So you said 94 was the end of apartheid, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we come in 2 years in a row. We did South Africa, and we were basically the first urban black radio shows. Because urban was created again.
Yeah.
Black radio shows. It was across the country. The department, their tourism department funded this as a way to invite black radio stations over to South Africa, inviting Black Americans to come here. It's safe. Right. But the funny part was, this was 6 years after apartheid, and you saw the ripples of. See, I think at the end of the day, when you talk about racism, you can't take people who've been conditioned and thought and educated a certain way about people and change their minds, right? And so the interesting.
I think you can change people's hearts.
Well,
I do. I think this. I'm sorry. The same book talks about George Wallace. George Wallace is running for president at this time, and this is clearly before he gets shot in Laurel, Maryland. And he has a change of heart, and he becomes a much different person. Whether you want to believe it or not.
Thurman, are you a different person? Or your politics, your political.
I feel like people can change their hearts.
Well, I'm not saying that people can't, but what I mean is the overall feeling of people, because it's all so deep. It's like religion. It really is. It's religion. So South Africa was interesting, and I look back at it. The people, and in a society, you have some people who are hardcore realists, right? So you get in the cab, and cab drivers are kind of like, where you can take the temperature, right? So you had the coloreds who would say, we are still second-class citizens, because when the whites were in power, we were second-class citizens. Now that the blacks are in power, we're second-class citizens, right? And this is the honest, their honest take. Then you had the people who are the go along, get along people who are almost like, isn't this great? Right? It's amazing. Then you had the people, like the political people, who were mad at Mandela because, you talk about De Beers, you talk about all of the companies that controlled South Africa, American interest. It's still the same, right? And so what happened was 10 years after, 20 years after, the ripples were the people were basically saying, we want to take these farms from the white folks because they got them unfairly.
I remember that. Yeah.
Remember that? It's the whole thing. So it's kind of like, sadly, that's what I mean. I think at the end of the day, when you take people, it's like, it's deep. When you start talking, it's money and politics and humanity, or lack thereof.
Right.
If you've been raised to believe somebody's less than a human, it's hard to turn them into a human. It's like, again, if our animals became people, we'd fight it. And I think sometimes, it's it's very interesting. And I think both places are very interesting. And lastly, we were at a party, and some older gentlemen who were in their 70s, they were the first generation of corporate people. And one guy worked in South Africa, and he was saying that when apartheid was going on, United States, and he worked for a company, I won't name the company, but the United States okayed them bringing in the kind of gas you use for flamethrowers in case an uprising happened. And it's illegal. It's military grade. It's not. Wow. It's against everything you believe in. But if the blacks rebelled, they had permission to use it, and it was supplied by the U.S. Right. And so soon as it changed power, he said he witnessed them taking it out of the country. So it was like, kind of speaks to how America is complicit in most of these situations too, because it's political, it's money, it's whatever. So
right. I mean, it's the top of the line is the money.
It's the money. Like look at De Beers, the diamond company in South Africa. Right. It would have been great if Mandela could say to those companies that for all those years had free work, free and underpaid labor, you have 10 years to train Black workers to come into your company in the management level and all the above. And then after 10 years, you got to leave. But that would not be endorsed by the United States or by France or by whoever.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I just been learning about how France's involvement in Africa. I didn't realize how dependent they were on African
everything.
dollars. Yeah. You know, so, but listen to some of those speakers. So
Carl with the K, you got a busy night. Don't get hung up here with us now.
Not a problem. I love being here with you guys. It's kind of makes me think before I go drink.
Have a drink for us. Cheers to you.
All right. You guys have a great evening. Thanks a lot. Don't forget, you can check out my live stream on Mondays at 7 on the Black Trivia Network channel. You can see me on Facebook at Black Trivia Network and on Instagram's Black Trivia, and you can follow me there.
Good job, Carl. Carl with the K. Don't forget about it when Carl's famous. Don't forget, we had him first. Awesome. So, babe, the good news and bad news. I don't have the video selections that I always have.
Okay.
We do have the topics though that we can talk about, but I just don't have the video. So, Clarke, I have first up there. Want to start with Clarke?
I do, but I also want to say hi to everybody who is with us right now.
Oh, maybe in our open.
Yeah, let's right over there. For the Allison and Marc podcast, and I see so many familiar faces that I love in here. Shout out to my girl Brandy, Brandy, I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna so Brandy and I have now moved our conversation to texting. We're texting friends now. So soon it will be phone calls, and then we'll just be meeting halfway, same areas to Montgomery County. But
mimosa parties.
She just dropped. We were talking about like how hearts can change and all of that. Because I do believe.
I don't believe they can't change. Right. I'm just saying, as a whole, societies.
Yeah, but it takes
in a capitalist society, there are factors that drive prejudice and race separation. But it's not even about the person; it's about the system. So,
but I think reading this book is really opening my eyes a lot to putting. Sometimes when you reading, we watch shows. We're on our phone all the time now, but seeing things through a different lens is very interesting. And although it's hard to listen to in this book that I'm trying to finish reading before tomorrow, you can see sort of some of the mindset that in this small Virginia town, some of the white residents had at that time when it was right after King is shot and RFK is shot, and some of the sentiment from like the fear that you're going to take my country away, and you were never meant to be a full citizen, talking about Black neighbors or people there. And so, Brandy, I see you in the chat just saying that, if you don't know, Brandy is my sister from another mister. We happen to be very similar in a lot of ways, but one big thing, okay, maybe we're different races. Okay. Anyway, so she's saying that in her family that there are people with those racist views and that she's fought against that. And I know it probably wasn't easy in those moments, but and Brandy, I'm sorry, I'm not putting you on the spot, but there are people with these big hearts, right? And it's the breakthrough. And I think that's just how it happens. And it's just constantly being in families' faces as long as you can, or as much as you feel like it, because it's exhausting, and saying, well, do you know anybody who's Black? Do you know anybody who's Hispanic, Asian, whatever, that's not you, and vice versa, all of it, right? So I don't know. I have hope for that. And Brandy, thank you for being so transparent and loving and open like you always are. So you can see Brandy's comments in the chat there.
I think, to be honest, the part about, and you're right, I think we all are, I don't know, people will say products of your environment or products of your philosophy. Mm-hmm. And it's a very, I don't know where it comes from, where when we talk about a heart, right? When we have a heart, you talk about love and empathy. If you have it for a pet, if you have it for an animal, if you have it for nature, but don't have it for a human being, it's weird.
Well, this is last thing I'm going to say about this book, and then we can move on.
Weird.
Last thing I'm going to say about this book, Calamity of Souls.
For me to have to teach you how to love somebody.
Here's the thing. In this same story, it's so funny that you would say that. this author talks about, they go to this house because they're interviewing witnesses. Again, Calamity of Souls. It's a legal thriller set in 1968 in somewhere in rural Virginia near Richmond. And they go to this guy's house to get testimony. A young white lawyer and a young Black woman lawyer from the Legal Defense Fund. Guy knocks on the door. He does not let this Black woman in his house, on his porch, any of it. A dog rushes to the door. He literally kicks the dog out of the house and then goes down and kicks it again, and he can't get up. So he's like, now I'm gonna have to, you're no good to me. Now I'm gonna have to get rid of you. He pulls his shotgun out.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
See? And
that
so
brings on the point. Yeah.
Right. So the two lawyers say, we'll buy the dog. We'll buy the dog. So they take the dog away. So it's humanity. So you're right. It's that same.
If you don't have humanity,
you've got to be better than other things around you.
Yeah.
Other people around you. So I mean, I hear you. Yeah.
Because I think that's what racists.
But it's interesting
don't
seeing
understand.
it from that other viewpoint.
Racists don't understand that humanity. So I think this is what I think happens with racists. If they were enslaved, if they were a slave, if they were treated, if I'm or sexist, if I was a woman and I got punched in the face, then I would hate men. So women probably hate me because I'm a sexist and I used to beat my wife, so she probably hates me. So I think that's how they move through life. You know what I mean? And not understanding, no, that person is different than you and doesn't think the way you do. So I think a lot of white people who are racist, it's fear because they feel like one day a Black guy's going to punch them in the face because of all the things that happen to your race. But they don't understand that when you have humanity, that's not how that's not something that's even on your mind. I'm not thinking about getting back at you. Because I wasn't raised that way. You're a human. I'm a human. I'm giving you a chance unless you give me a reason not to give you a chance. That's
why kids are so great.
Yeah, except the ones who've been tainted by their family.
Before that.
Yeah.
That's why. Anyway. All right. Caitlin Clarke.
Caitlin Clarke. And this, I have an epiphany on the Caitlin Clarke conversation.
Okay.
Now, for those, we do this a lot, but I don't think we have to. People know what the Caitlin Clarke situation. There's a lot of dynamics going on with it, right? Basically, the recent one, and the one that got all the coverage was, and I thought it was interesting, the referee did not call a foul when she should have. So I think that's a question mark actually for me when I heard the story. Then Allison and I are at the gym and we see it. If the player is not around the ball, not going for the ball's not even in play, and you go up and crack them, that's called a flagrant foul. So even if you're not in sports, I think you can understand that, right? A flagrant one. It's almost like, it's like a flagrant one that's less than a flagrant two, which is like outrageous. So a flagrant one is, you know that wrong. That's what it stands for. Flagrant one, you know that wrong. So Caitlin was standing there and got, bam,
Kennedy Carter checked her.
She got checked and the ref didn't call it. She didn't call a flagrant one. And so for me, that was the part, I heard the conversations, I just kind of saw it in passing. And for me, it was like, why wouldn't the referee call this flagrant one? Before it devolved into everything it's turned into, right? Then the next day, it was a day or 2 days. Anyway, they then declared it to be a flagrant one, right? So then that's one side. The other side is, she gets preferential treatment. They're making her the great white hope. They're making her the great star. What's funny about the conversation with the sports and everybody else, they're taking race out of it, but race is a big player in it. You know what I mean? It's almost like we're talking in circles, but we're not talking truth. The fact is, a league that is predominantly Black and gay, Black gay women, WNBA, has now a star who, I don't know her sexuality, but she's white, and everybody's going crazy, right? And so, but people don't ever talk about it. They don't really say it. They just kind of like, they be like, but yeah, that's a factor, right? It's a factor. A young white girl, little white girls now want to play in the WNBA. Little white girls now want to be Caitlin Clarke. And who is she? She's like a female Steph Curry. Her innovation is the three-pointer. And what kills me is people are like, all she got is a three-pointer. Hell yeah, that's what it is. So just think about it.
A smoking three-pointer.
A smoking three-pointer, and just like Steph Curry. Because in a land of giants, you can't, it's hard. You can't really maneuver unless you got something different. And what you got different? It's a 3-pointer. And the beauty of it is, marketing wise, it's a dream. Everybody wants a piece of this business. And now you saw Andrew Reese said, no, it's not just her, it's us. It is a combination, because this season, the women's collegiate sports was off the chain because you had multiple great players. So to me, what's interesting is it's not about great playing. It's not about that. People be like, what about Cheryl Swoops? What about so-and-so? What about so-and-so? There's never been in any point in WNBA time where the sport has had this much coverage worldwide, period. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. When you look at Caitlin Clarke's game, I just saw it the other day, when she's playing, when she's not playing, they did a thing on the weekends. Attendance around 7,500, 4,500. When she's playing, it's 17,000 plus.
Sold out
So that's what it's really about. This is like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, the same thing that happened in the NBA. Back then, the WNBA, the attendance was down. They weren't watching it. It was why? Because they thought it was too violent. It was black guys, not black people were not looking at it like they were. The Larry Bird, Magic Johnson college rivalry, much like the Caitlin Reese and all the arrests in college.
The Caitlin Reese, Kennedy Johnson.
Yeah, all that. It brought people to the game. It saved the NBA. Larry Bird saved the NBA. What did he have? He was white and he could play his ass off. Caitlin Clarke, more like Steph Curry to me. Can she play her ass off? She's a great basketball player, but she's a great 3-point shooter. And that's what's putting booties in seats.
So long, look, I'm excited about, you want to get Brandy's comment off, because we do all need a drink though. I'm excited about it as a former basketball player myself.
That's right. What's your nemesis? Who's your nemesis, babe?
I can relate to Caitlin Clarke because I too was hard checked for no reason by Alberta Grimes in the 8th grade when we played basketball.
And you know who else they did it to? They did it to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan.
So what's your point?
This is a part. So my point is, when old people, old players.
But wait a minute. What's your point? Because
here's my point
about the hard check and the foul. So you're saying that was wrong, and it should have been called.
So here's my point.
It was good for the NBA with the Magic.
Here's my point.
Okay.
My point is this. I think all factors of the WNBA feel a certain way about this girl who's getting all this damn attention because, like you said, it wasn't a player who didn't make the call, it was a ref that didn't make the call. So, ref, what are you doing? And so I think the end, it's almost like, again, when that happens, the new pretty news anchor comes in who can't read like Allison Seymour and ain't never done a damn thing. When they come in and now they're put on Front Street and all the other anchors are like, man, who's she? I'm a damn legend in this piece. And I think the sport is adjusting to, and what the irony of it all is, she's bringing money to y'all. Y'all make $25,000 a year.
So you're railing against the vets.
The WNBA, y'all need to put your big girl pants on and go ahead and just accept it. Be excited because because nobody's checking for the WNBA. People don't like the facts.
I guess she was also called a name, I'm saying, after Kennedy.
Yeah, you get called names. It's called sports. You get called names all the time. People get called and punched in the face all the time.
What your point is, sir?
My point is the WNBA needs to embrace this moment and not be jealous.
You're talking about the other players.
The whole league. The whole league.
Oh my God, I think the league is excited.
I'm talking when I say league, so the referees and the players.
Okay.
Yes. Because it ain't about, I'm just as good as her. Yes, you are just as good as her. But you were here 2 years ago, ain't nobody come to the game. Okay? You were here for 10 years, nobody came to the game. Women, same thing. Women, talking about.
Can we talk about that? Why not?
On Steve,
because it was not exciting, wasn't fast. Why people coming to WNBA games?
Stephen A. Smith got dogged out by the female co-host because she basically pointed out, we'll be talking about WNBA. Right, because ain't nobody watching WNBA. Nobody cares. People don't watch it. Women don't watch it. Where at, ladies? Where y'all at?
Why? Right.
Well, because it ain't interesting. Okay. See, that's hard to hear, but the proof is in the proof. Let me just the saying. This is the saying. The saying is actually the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. That's the whole saying.
Mhm.
Most of the time we say the proof is in the whatever. But anyway, the proof of the pudding is in the tasting. Nobody tasting. Nobody was tasting WNBA. They're like, oh, I'll pass. Even the women, hey girl, hey, we got some tickets to WNBA. You want to go? No, I'm good. Now, I was just checking. I called my man who sells Ritas at where the WNBA plays, the small arena.
At the Mystic.
I call him, hey man, is this Caitlin Clarke thing crazy? Y'all gonna be packed? He's like, packed? Then I moved it to.
Yeah. Sold out. You couldn't get tickets.
He moved and then moved it.
Well, good.
And then Wallace is right. We're the teammates. She got hard checked and nobody did a damn thing. In the NBA, you beat up my girl, we beating your ass. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh well, hate.
She'll prove him wrong. Just give her, as far as I saw, she wasn't, I'm sure she was complaining to her in her inner circle, but unless it's changed, she was like, it's the game. So yeah, they should have called the foul. It's the game. And so I like her attitude as far as it goes. And she's definitely bringing people into the arena. It started when she was in school. And so, yeah, now all we need to do is get some, raise that pay a little bit, get some more, some equity when it comes to this top tier level of female athletes in the NBA, because the NBA is over the WNBA. Maybe that's the issue.
Yes.
Maybe it should be a separate thing.
So let's break down. Let's break down the business. The WNBA was how the NBA washed its money. Okay, when you're a loss leader, that's where you put your money over here to justify losing your money. Like Sandra said, this is something else too, Sandra, that doesn't get talked about. Sandra said the whole draft selection had me watching, not just Caitlin Clarke. You're absolutely right. There's two worlds here. There's two things happening here. The Reese, your girl from Baltimore, Angel Reese, and your girl who's on her team with her. Absolutely, Sandra. There are Black people. I'm gonna make it racial, but let's keep it real. A lot of people. Angel Reese was a star in college, and a lot of her girls were stars in college, right? So you're absolutely right. It's like two different worlds. I heard an announcer made a great point about Angel Reese. He said, "Oh, she cries too much. To have so much, she just da." But this caller in DC, God bless Washington DC. This caller had such a great point, saying to the white host that Angel Reese complaining for just complaining. That's not it. Angel Reese is being harassed by racists, so she is complaining and expressing that. And so don't get it twisted with who she's pointing it to is not towards people who are Caitlin Clarke fans necessarily. She's talking about those racist people who've given her death threats for being a star in basketball or going up against Caitlin Clarke, because the race dynamics in America, it is what it is, and it's always going to be there. And so it was great to hear a caller and caller like put that perspective, because that's actually true. And if you're a white announcer, you may not know that perspective, because the reality is the Reese is a sexier. When I say sexier, I'm not talking about necessarily sexier. I'm talking about she's a fashion icon. She was invited to the Met Gala. Her brand is glamour, right? Caitlin Clarke's brand is not glamour. She's like little girls. It reminds me of soccer moms. It reminds me of that same crowd, little soccer girls, soccer moms. So there's a couple things going on here, but it all comes back to money. They want these kids selling shoes, selling clothes, selling whatever. So the good news is all of this.
Thank God for shoes, because at least she can make some money in the WNBA.
Yeah,
it's not the salary.
And all
endorsements.
And Shaq signed Reese to a deal with Reebok, which he now is the president of, or he now owns, whatever. So yeah, there's a couple dynamics going through this, though. It's obviously not just the basketball, and it's not just race, and it's not just play. It's all those factors. But all we know is that she's coming to town Friday and it's sold out. When's the last time it was a sold out game here with the WNBA?
Yeah,
I can't tell you. I cannot tell you. All right.
You had your Wheaties today, my man.
You know what? I'm on this diet. I'll tell you about it. Okay, so
you on a diet without me?
Not a diet, baby. I'll cut out the sugar. So my sugar level's steady. It's not like up and down.
Okay, well, how do I
Trump
do that?
Guilty.
Oh my gosh.
Let me just say this about Trump guilty.
How long? Did we go on last week? All right. When did that happen?
What?
That just happened?
What?
Trump. The now Hunter Biden's on. Now we got a whole nother trial.
Yeah.
But okay.
No, I have something to say about Trump guilty.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Trump, hate him, which most of us do. I can't say I hate him because I'm a personality on television news, but this mother sucker here, let me tell you something. Trump, he know what he be doing. 2 moments happened that made me be like, this guy. So
he's like P.T. Barnum. He's a marketing genius.
He's a marketing genius. When he came, when it's, found him guilty on all those counts. And so I didn't post this because Babe was like, babe, you can't post this. Why was I laughing out of my mind when every count? I mean, I don't know. Why was it comical, babe? It just felt comical. Guilty, 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 guilty. And I might
34 times.
I might post it and cut out the audio because I don't want anybody to be implicated, but I was laughing my heart out. But it was interesting, but I couldn't wait to see what he was going to do, right? And he did what we knew he was going to do. It was like a movie. Mm-hmm. It was like a movie. He came out that courtroom. Now he knew, okay, I'm gonna have to look like I'm really mad. I'm gonna have to ignite my base. He comes out of that courtroom, eyes all squinty, and the thing about him is he's what, 6'4"? He's a big guy. He's this big, blonde hair, blue-eyed symbol of what word am I looking for, babe?
I don't know, but you better choose it carefully, my man.
He's a symbol of
he's Make America Great Again.
He's a Make America Great. Let's say that. Right. Good job, babe.
Mm-hmm.
And so now the judge just told him, look, hey, shut up. Shut up or you're going to jail. This judge, he goes in on the judge. He's basically telling his crowd, I'm angry. It was like a movie, like a script out of the movie. You knew he was going to do this. He was going to say something to get his people fired up. Biden, this is Biden's fault. It has nothing to do with Joe Biden. The judge, he appointed the judge.
State of New York.
He appointed the judge, and Joe Biden had nothing to do with it. But he just went on this rant. This just was a whistle to all his people. And I'd be doggone if they didn't break his website, tripling his money and breaking the website. They were so, yeah, you're right. And then that was the first play. The second play that he did, Julie said he's a symbol of racism. Yeah, thank you. I didn't say that, Julie did. The second thing he did that was brilliant was on Fox News when they're like,
I thought he didn't like Fox News anymore.
Right. When he goes back and they're like, well, there's a possibility that you could be heading to jail. And he said, I'll go. I told my lawyers not to beg. So if I have to go, I'll go. Now I don't think they'll allow it. I don't think my followers will allow it. So again, dog whistle.
My followers.
So dog whistle. I'm strong. I ain't afraid of jail. I'll go. And then I told my lawyers not to beg. All this is like a script. You can't even write.
My followers remind me of January 6th.
You can't write. Exactly. You can't write this. Like that mind. That's a jaded mind.
First debate between Trump and Biden is June 27th. Should be very interesting. I think the battle lines are drawn.
Battle lines.
You're going to vote how you vote.
Oh yeah.
You're going to vote along your party lines.
Nothing you can do.
You? The Republicans in the chat, are you voting along your party lines, regardless of the fact that now you have a convicted felon as your candidate? Democrats, you're going to vote for Joe Biden?
Democrats, as a lifelong Democrat, we're a sorry bunch.
So, okay. I'm asking the folks I'm asking the folks, or what do you think, or people that you talk to?
We're a sorry bunch because this is what's going to happen. He's going to have the biggest voter turnout he's ever had, period. And we will still have people like, oh, is that today? It rained. That's one thing about the Republican Trumpers.
Truly.
They going to vote, okay? They going to vote. Now, Democrats?
I'm going to make a prediction right now. I do not think that he will be successful in this next go round on in the November general election. I feel like we started talking about, I came in late today, but we were talking about the hearts of people. And I think that, you're going to have some business people or whatever, whoever else, people who feel strongly about different matters who, or just like the bravado or like whatever, who feel like they got a stimulus check back in 2000, 19 or whatever, 20. But I think that, I think for those of us who felt a definite change in the energy in the country, and felt like that people who had very outdated and backwards thinking as far as all Americans moving forward, I think that sentiment is going to take over, and I do not think, I'm going on the record, and this is not political, I'm just saying my prediction, I do not think that he will be successful. And I think that right there is the thing that keeps somebody like that up at night, because he wants so bad,
He's not up at
he's up at night. He's up at night to be a one-term president, and he's up at night, and that is the thing. And so that is the only, for me, that's the only thing, because you come out of the courtroom, you do your fists, you do the dog whistles, all of that. And then you see this flood of money, campaign money, and this whole sentiment, right? But when you go and you pull that lever or whatever, you write your little bubble in that ballot, come election day, I think that people knew what it was, and to go backwards, that's what would happen. And I'm trying to choose my words carefully here to not be biased with this, but this is not for me, this is not a political thing. For me, this is a survival thing as a Black woman in the United States with Black children, and with like trying to move forward and leave something for my kids, and try to create some sort of generational wealth in a country that has at pretty much every point in our not too distant past stopped a rising middle class if it wasn't in the majority. So I feel like Americans will pull together on election day. And I think that is the thing that will be the thorn in a person like that side, because to lose is not, nowhere in his mind. Even he could be like losing a foot race and say, I didn't lose.
Oh, no, definitely no.
And so that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, that's it, because I'm not getting in trouble today.
As a Ravens fan, I'll just say my prediction. Here's my thing.
What do you guys think? Who's winning this?
The Ravens, the Ravens core philosophy has always been based in, we mentioned earlier, heart, right? My problem is the Democratic Party and Joe Biden, they don't have the heart. Trump's people have the heart. Loud and wrong, ignorant and stupid. Their heart, they are going to do whatever needs to be done.
And that's and when we say that, we're not, because you to be fair, like if you're a Republican, that's the candidate. So to be fair, how do you vote in that situation? If you don't like the candidate, do you not still vote along your party lines?
The Republicans vote for the Republicans.
Right, but
who don't even look, they don't have to like them. They vote. It's a system.
Right, but what I'm saying is,
that's what Democrats don't do.
But
Democrats.
But I won't get it twisted to say that everybody, like, I don't think you're voting for a person. You're voting along your party lines, and that's the scary part for me. But
yeah.
Anyway,
I'm saying I think they're more passionate.
I don't want anybody to take it out of context, because I need my job.
Julie said African Americans don't get we'll be doomed. If we have to depend on African Americans to get out and vote, guess what? We're doomed. Okay.
We're not doomed.
What's next?
I'm positive we're not doomed.
Hope. That's hope. Hope's the word, but not. Okay. Oh, I needed the video for this one. Have you seen the video? Have y'all seen the video? What's your take? Who's going to win? By the way, we're curious now. Wallace, is this a Prince shirt?
This is last week,
It's a Prince.
No, this is last week.
No, I wrote it down today.
Oh, okay.
Wallace, this is not a Prince shirt. I'm too big for a Prince shirt. It is a Prince-like shirt. Yes.
I like that shirt. This is the Prince shirt. That's what you're talking about.
Oh, damn. You're right.
This is the Prince shirt. That's my main.
Oh, shit. Anthony Horn makes an appearance. Anthony Horn. Question. I talked to the tourist director for St. Kitts, And I thought of you because my last message, Anthony Horn, who always accused me of never calling him back, which I did call him back, he didn't pick up. He said he had something for me. And Anthony's working in the islands doing these cool things. So Anthony, St. Kitts was on today on Be More Lifestyle. And I was like, please, Jesus, let this be the surprise that Anthony has, because Anthony works in these islands and he does these festivals. So Anthony, please tell me the tourist person for St. Kitts, the commissioner, whatever. Anyway, I'll call you after the show. Was that the secret you had for me? Was that the secret? I think you understand the fear is the
We
same
go
for him
to
the
the
first couple of times.
micro level on this show.
Anthony, you already living. Wait a minute. Anthony Horn talking about he gonna buy a house in
We're
Spain.
talking about
You already
the
live in
election.
Spain.
We're talking about the election. Yeah. I ain't going nowhere.
You already live in damn St. Kitts or wherever. Yeah, it don't take a rocket science, y'all. Y'all know the energy, the passion is on only one side of the table. We know that.
That's not true. The passion is also against that energy.
Is it
Yes.
passion? It's fear.
It was for me.
It's
No.
fear.
I'm
It's
talking
not
about
passion.
I'm talking about if you don't align with the whole messaging.
Yes. No, I get it. Yes. It's liberal. It's liberal talk radio. No, let's put it this way. Liberal talk radio, 0 listeners. Conservative talk, 1 billion. No more liberal talk because it doesn't get ratings. Why? Because people need to be angry. The Republicans are angry and mad. Oh, damn. Damn it, Anthony. Okay.
Oh well.
All right.
When you're at home, please make sure that the yard is always done. When you're going to be unemployed.
What did I say? What did I say?
Oh boy, there are good people, and I hope that good prevail. I'm confident that good will prevail. So that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about
People aren't really voting. They're like not really saying what they're going to do. Oh, wait a minute. 88's in the building? Damn, Sean. What's up, man? Congratulations. 88. 88. I never forget this. All my fat people. 88. I call 88 Sean. 88 got the weight loss surgery because he needed to get hip surgery, and he had to lose weight to get the hip surgery. And so 88 babe did security at Sydney Sweet 16.
Okay.
The tall brother.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when he asked me back then, hey, Mark, have you thought about weight loss surgery? I was like, no. In my mind, how dare you? And of course I had weight loss surgery. So thank you, Sean. And I believe, Sean, you just got some new hips. So congratulations. And also congratulations. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary too. So all of that wrapped together. Thank you, my brother. Dave Anderson in town today, babe.
Hey,
Dave Anderson in town today. Dave, I think I stole one of your quotes we had today when you came in.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, you don't care. I steal from him all the time. The business bullies in the building. Trump. See, also 88. If you are anyway, 88's a great guy. He's saying Trump. Man, I don't know when different platforms how to come in there. Oh, what do you say? I don't know. Oh, I don't know when on all three.
Technical issue.
Oh, okay. 14 years ago. Wow. TV. Yes. She got a Prince. Yes. 88. Thank you, my brother. See, babe, he's okay. I didn't expose anything. See, Dave said I can borrow any of his quotes, babe.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to say Dave is a Trumper. I'm going to say Dave's a realist.
Dave's a businessman.
He's a realist and a marketer, and he feels like that Trump's going to win.
Yeah, well, I don't.
Oh, you weren't seeing the text on YouTube. Very interesting. Sending prayers for you, Sean. Speedy recovery. Was it both hips or just one? And how is it going? Interesting.
Dave, I agree. Let's agree to disagree, because I don't feel like pulling up all the receipts of what has happened over the last 4 years. I think that the Democrats have the Democrats need a bigger bullhorn to talk about the things that have been done. And for me, this is what I said. At the end of the day, I believe that Joe Biden came in as almost like a peacetime president. Came in to try to restore some civility, try to sort of even out or normal out or what have you this country again. And so that's how I feel about it. And at the end of the day, and I was right about the last president not getting a second term. I was right about that. Remember?
Yeah.
And I will be right about it come November. That's how I feel about it. But we can circle back.
So 88 got a new hip. So he's back in the ass kicking game. Good job, Sean.
Did you want to end with the superintendent shove, or can we end with something more upbeat? Because we talked about these things last week. The MS, that diagnosis not coming through.
No,
right?
babe, I was talking about my diet.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about it.
So for those who've been keeping track, I had declared 2024 vegan 2024. I am no longer vegan.
Well, you're no longer vegan because as when you were first diagnosed, or when they first thought that you might have multiple sclerosis, which we don't ever say the name, we call it more success.
More
MS.
success.
So Marc has more success. We're dealing with more success as a family. That's how we call it. So yeah. But so when we first researched it, and this is my thing with you, Clarke. This is my thing with you, Clarke.
What's your thing with me?
They said, a great diet for those with MS, more success, is the Mediterranean diet. It's giving you the things that you need. But Marc want to freestyle it and be a vegan. When did nobody say that about doing it? But that's what you always do.
Yeah,
you'll take it and you'll like freestyle it.
Well,
and
but only because
when we
I've been
to
around. I
the
had a Mediterranean diet.
And we talked about diet and all that. They said, yeah, the vegan thing is not really the best thing. And that's where we are today.
Yeah. But again, it's only because, and 88 can relate, Dave can relate. I've been on every plan. I've researched every diet. I've been the Mediterranean diet. I've done them all, right? And the end of the day, we're trying, the
Randy, I think meat is on the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah, Mediterranean diet, olives.
Randy's crazy.
Yeah. And so it was just the timing. That's all, babe. That was
okay. So we're back to we're doing lean meats, but I'm so interested. So you're cutting out sugar. Oh my God, that is if I could cut out sugar, Lord. And I think about it every morning when I put those 2 scoops into my morning coffee, and I just delight. And y'all, I'm drinking my coffee in the morning before I go on, and I'm just savoring every sip of it. I love it so much. With the sugar, and it's sugar and cream what you love. You don't love coffee. That's what I realized, because coffee tastes like poop. So I'm now doing unsweetened tea and unsweetened coffee, and it is protein.
The best part of
yes, Julie. I'm trying to. They say you need like 30 grams of protein in every meal.
Yeah, it's too much. They push protein. So I think it's important to, going back to meat, you have to watch your portion size. That's what I didn't do at first. Watch your portion size. And
you look good. You're looking good.
Well, the crazy part was I totally forgot the reason why you go back and forth with these diet things, because when I do reducing sugar, when I take that sugar out, it then comes off. I lost, so
you did what?
I was 292. Where did we go? 292. With the thing, what was that? Last week?
Yeah, I don't think I saw what they weighed you in.
Yeah, last week I was 292. Today I'm 285. Just like that.
Oh, men just get on my damn nerves
but
with that.
The sugar,
you
realize
done something for 2 weeks.
What you realize,
and you
coffee
lost 7 pounds.
Coffee is, most people are addicted to the sugar and the cream. That's what makes it delicious.
Okay.
Because the coffee by itself, here's something.
So you're trying to tell me
coffee by
you
itself,
cut out sugar, and in the last week or so, you've lost like 7 pounds.
Yeah.
So what does that look like on a daily basis? Because sugar is in everything.
That's what I'm saying.
So how do you so when I do my instant oatmeal in the morning,
oatmeal is sugar, because oatmeal is just is
okay. So what do I
oatmeal is sugar. When you're putting sugar on oatmeal, you're putting sugar on sugar.
I don't put the sugar on it, but it is
whatever you're doing, because it converts to sugar, because it's just oats.
Okay. Well,
oats converts to sugar, bread converts to sugar, grains converts to sugar, everything converts to sugar. And then fruits, depending on how much sugar they have in them. I mean, blueberries are low sugar. Everything else is kind of not. So it's like you say, everything is sugar. And that's how they get you. You're addicted to it. You can't. Anthony said sugar is life. Right.
Randy, I'm struggling too.
It is a struggle because it takes a whole crazy.
I just don't know what my day would look like to not have sugar in it. So that's what I'm talking.
Yeah.
I'm a person who needs to see it. So let me just say this to anybody out there who has had success with limiting sugar and all of that. Anybody out there, can you please send me an example of your diet in a day so that I can try to.
You're not gonna like it because it sucks.
Look,
it's not bad. So in the morning, have 2 boiled eggs. And lunch, have a salad with the protein. Yeah, this is it. This is something I was going to do when I was in New York, guys, and do this diet. It's actually 2 fruits, 2 proteins, and the rest green. Nobody steal that. But that's the diet.
Where's the meat? And you need the meat for
2 fruits, 2 proteins, 2 servings of proteins, and the rest greens.
Right. There you go. Limit the fruit because it's sugar.
Right. 2 fruits, 2 proteins, and the rest greens. So, and then the fruits are blueberries. Maybe like blueberries are low in sugar. There's a couple others. I don't have my little thing in front of me, but
okay, I need you to write it down and I'll do it.
And then Dave likes Swerve. The sugar alternatives, you gotta be careful. If you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, then your body still may. And also, what I'm doing, guys, is I take my insulin levels, my sugar levels daily, and after each meal and before each meal. So I'm basically very aware of where my sugar is.
Lower sugar oatmeal. Okay.
Lower sugar oatmeal. Oats are sugar. Oats are bad as far as if you're trying to write sugar because oats are sugar.
I need energy in the morning.
Well, you do feel it when you don't have that energy.
I need energy in the morning, and so
Mark, okay, he's gonna send it to me.
Thank you. Is that 88? Is Sean 88?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Because yeah, I just need I'm a person who needs to see it and then I can follow it. I'm a list person. And so
Anthony, we're not listening to you with your Reese's peanut butter cups all day. No, I saw your pictures of Anthony is like all cut up and living in the sun.
Breakfast have 2 eggs in. Okay. That's the other problem too, y'all. My early morning schedule, it makes it super duper hard.
Deborah, what's going on? Deborah snuck in.
Super duper hard. Okay. Deborah said, what now? What works? Limit fruit because of the sugar. Okay. Thank you guys. I just, is there can we save the chat?
Huh?
Can you save the chat?
Well, when you go back on, it's up there. If you go back to the sites.
Okay. Thank you. Because I love all of these ideas.
Antoine, what's going on?
All right. Okay.
Wait a minute.
Where are we?
Antoine, are you my Antoine, are you my my what you call a plug? I think Antoine's our seaweed plug.
All right. Somebody in Maryland won $1 million. Somebody in Silver Spring won, I think it was Mega Millions. You won $1 million. Congratulations. Isn't that awesome?
Yep. Why couldn't it be us, babe?
Because we didn't buy a ticket. First thing. So that's the problem. But anyway, congratulations to you.
Yes, the Sagittarian God. The best seaweed in the business right here. Not seaweed, sea moss. Sorry, Antoine. Is right here. Sagittarian God. See, I didn't know. I saw that picture, man. That long mane. I saw you. All right. Okay. Any parting shots, babe?
No, did you were you good?
Is Martin said he's okay, by the way, for those who saw that.
Oh boy, Martin.
So babe, this show was we did have a lot of race. Did you see the thing on video, babe, with
I did.
What are your thoughts?
I thought it was horrible.
So,
you know what? I thought it was horrible, but this is what I'm talking about. Father is at a graduation. His daughter's where was that? It wasn't in some place you would think. It was someplace like in not Illinois, but some other place. Anyway,
superintendent has to be African American.
Superintendent is black, and his daughter and this white guy, the daughter is graduating, walking across the stage, and this guy literally comes up on the stage, pushes the superintendent out of the way because he doesn't want his daughter shaking his hand. He's a black man, but the daughter, super embarrassed. When the superintendent comes back on, the crowd boos this action. When the superintendent comes back on, they applaud.
Humanity lives.
It's a battle, y'all. It's a battle. and we got to be in it. It's a battle because there are forces that are keeping folks ignorant, and it's a battle. And I believe that we have to win. The good has to win, because if not, then what?
There's chaos.
There is chaos. So, and it's not gonna be chaos, because we've all no.
Babsy,
I rebuke it.
pour some liquor out for Babsy. She kept off over 100 pounds off since 2018.
Okay.
We got it. Let me tell you, it's a Hall of Fame weight loss group in this joint. 88 lost over 100 pounds. Was it 2? Dave lost over 300 or 400 pounds. Anthony got ripped up, and I lost over 100 pounds. So let's keep it going, guys.
The thing I hate the most about that, I'm so proud of you, and you look amazing. What I hate about it is sometimes when we take pictures, I know where it went when you lost it.
Way to go.
This gal.
Baby, did not go on you.
Some pictures, I'm like, oh, no, sir.
Brandy, you were 250? Wait a minute.
Brandy, you're holding back. Like,
Brandy
what?
was 250? Okay. You lost 100 pounds, Brandy?
I'm going to text you when we get off. I need to know. So boiled eggs and turkey bacon in the morning.
88, 608 was his heaviest. Man, 88, I'm so proud of you. And Dave was 5 something. And it's crazy. Anthony. So Anthony, Mr. living on an island somewhere, was like, yeah, before I got my weight loss surgery, Anthony was like making fun of me, saying, okay, so when you come visit me and I'll have all that loose skin and you're in the lagoon or whatever, what you gonna do? I was like, forget you, man. Yeah, Anthony, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Wow. Man, look who you never know. You never know what people. Isn't that funny? Brandy's what? Brandy's sexy mermaid, right?
Curvy mermaid.
Curvy mermaid. Sorry. Well, that's what I'm saying. So, Brandy, who knew? You never know a person's life. You never know who people are. 2008. That was just around the corner. Yeah. All right, y'all. We've been going too long. Allison's really talkative tonight for some reason.
Lord, that seems weird that you cut the sugar out. And okay. Brandy, I just text you, please. So please answer my text when you can.
That's my buddy right here.
He is on fire. He think he's cute in his little flower shirt, y'all.
You know what I did? I used baby's whitening strips, baby. I like the whitening strips. I think it worked. Because Lord, I be seeing myself on TV. I'm like, no, sir.
Yeah, baby said they worked.
No, sir, we can't do that. All right.
So okay, in closing, a little update on our life. All right. A little update on our life. Our oldest, who had been living at home for her first year of medical school, she has now moved out.
You hear the howling.
She only
in the
lives
basement?
15 minutes away, but it feels like she lives in a whole nother state. And I miss her. I do. And but we've been hanging out because she needs stuff for her apartment. So these past 2 days, I've seen her. That's why I wasn't with you at the top of the show, because we went to Walmart and that took everything out of me. So she needs you to buy her an air fryer. So anyway, that's what happened with her. Baby, did you know this? Baby got a job.
Nope.
Baby's gonna be working at Taco Bell, y'all.
Okay.
And so,
Taco Tuesdays.
Baby's gonna be working at Taco Bell. The only shift she could get is the night shift, so she's gonna be working 8 to midnight.
Marvin, hey, what we doing now?
So
on the night shift.
Yeah. Baby's a grinder. Baby's a hustler.
Yeah,
so she came home and got that job.
I call Baby, since she was a freshman, I call her the single black woman.
Yeah, she does
Spencer
not
worked at.
She does not need it.
Spencer worked at Wendy's, living in Bethesda. Wendy's. Where else did she work? She worked some ghetto jobs. Wendy's, Cookout in Atlanta. My baby working at Cookout.
She's had several jobs.
She cooks for people. She does hair.
She was a cashier at Safeway.
She cooks for people. She do hair. Wait a minute. I don't think you understand. She makes plates. Right. She do hair.
Oh, Brandy, I often have wondered why. I just assumed you had curvy mermaid, Brandy, because you're a beach.
Brandy,
gal like me.
Brandy got them curves. What?
So inappropriate, Brandy. I'm so
Brandy don't. Oh, what now? Oh, what's your Cash App? Wait a minute. Oh, see, that's so sweet. Yes, Spencer's Cash App, girl. You're right, because she didn't. Sydney was getting. Let me tell you something about the kids. It's so great. They don't know that money. Well, especially Sydney.
Somebody said that having daughters, and this is so true. Having daughters. Raise your hand if you can relate.
No, that's Scott.
Having daughters is like having little broke best friends who think you're rich.
Yes.
Little broke best friends. So, and then our middle daughter is coming home next week. She is down in Norfolk, and she has been really trying to get a job. She can't get a job in Norfolk, so she's coming on home to get a job and try to finish up school. So her path has been like this, but I said in college, wasn't necessarily traditional. She's thugging it out. She's sticking it out. And I told her it's going to make her story so much more interesting. Yeah. Nothing wrong with, you go in, you go out, you go in, or you go, you go through your trade, or you're in the military, you start right away, or you go to college or whatever, junior college too. But when she stands up and then she speaks and shares her story one day, and and she says it's okay if you didn't get out of school in 4 years, it's okay if you saw other people that you went to school with go on and you think they're surpassing you. It's okay if you don't really have 100% confidence in yourself, as long as you continue to work on yourself. And that's going to be her testament and her testimony. And she's going to inspire millions of people. I can just feel it.
Oh, come on now.
So anyway, that's an update. That's a family update. That's what we're doing. So.
Anthony, I'll holler at you. Go ahead. Be safe, brother.
Yeah.
The thing, so babe, that I love what you just said about daughters, but I think your mother, the best ever, right? Mom and dad, the best ever. Your mother probably would say the same thing about me. Son-in-laws are like broke little boys who think you have all the money.
Son-in-laws can be like, when you were little, and then you're at the house and you get the knock on the door. Get Allison, come out and play. Yeah. That's son-in-law. Son-in-law.
Babe, honestly,
it's all love. It's all love.
Babe, wouldn't your mom buy anything I wanted?
All you had to say was, oh, man, that's a sharp sweater vest. 2 weeks later, here you go.
Whatever Allison's mom would now, I lost my high-paying job. I'm unemployed. Allison's parents had my back, and mom would buy me anything I wanted or needed. And it was great because, and you get the cosign from dad. Like if I did need something, it'd be like, of course. For Lawrence, of course.
Yeah.
And who has that? That's why we don't give marriage advice, because I married like the dopest girl who had the dopest parents. So I don't give much advice, because that's the part. Most people didn't have dope parents like that. So therefore.
Oh, Granny says, I love my girls.
All right, y'all.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Wallace, cousin, what's going on here?
You know what? Thank you, Wallace, for sharing that. It's to be honest, and I'm not speaking out of turn, because I think this is just inspirational for other people to hear, because you might I think we look at family sometimes, you might look at us and be like, oh, okay, they just cruising through life. They don't have a care in the world. It's just, we all have our family, different family dynamics. And to be quite honest, like everybody doesn't necessarily, that's not the path, like traditional college and I think that our sweet daughter said that. I don't really like.
She said it before college.
She said like, maybe it's not for me or whatever. And I wish, in full transparency, I wish I had listened more, and maybe we had figured out a different path then. Because I think sometimes when you try to fit all kids into one mold, like fitting a square peg into a round hole that you think they need to fit in, sometimes it's like it doesn't work. And it's frustrating because maybe they feel like they're in over their head, and it's frustrating to us as parents because they're not living out what we think is the dream for them. And so it's just like, I had somebody tell me a long time ago, you have 3 daughters. They're going to learn differently. They're going to go through life differently. They might love differently, all of that. And as parents, as long as they're not being destructive to themselves or to the household, then it's their life. And you got to, I think, give them, and that's what I'm learning now, because the kids are 23, 22, 19, learning that you got to give them a little little rope. I hate that, but you know what I mean, a little leeway, a little rope to do their thing. And then draw the boundaries. If you're not going to, like, if you're not, Wallace, I see you. If you're not going to go to school and you're a 20-year-old person, what's your plan then? What's your plan? And how can I help you be on that plan?
Right.
But yeah, so but it's all good at the end of the day because they're here, they're healthy, and and I feel exceedingly blessed, period. And we're moving forward. That's all we can do.
Awesome. Good job. Wallace, you got this, Dad.
Yep.
All right, y'all, get me emotional. Let's get out of here. Y'all get me emotional.
Swing. He needs some sugar.
All right, y'all, be good.
Business bully. He needs some Reese's peanut butter cups. My
I'll see y'all next week. Goodbye.